The setup, I wasn't very happy with the setup, but of course I couldn't change it. We had round tables, and there were, I don't know, there was probably about 15, maybe 20 different people there from different churches, and all congregating at different tables. So of course, at the table you'd have a lot of talking and chitter-chatter between each of the tables. What is electronic giving? And at this point I said, how many of you are using electronic giving? Great. Are you finding that it's beneficial for your church?
Yes.
Yes? Great, great.
We're not sure.
Not sure?
No. It has been, I don't know, it just seems like people aren't catching on to it very well. I don't know if our people are just old, computer illiterate, but actually we're a little bit dissatisfied with the results we've been having.
You know, and I do hear that quite often. We'll talk a little bit about that later on, how you can get that promoted within your congregation. It could just be some educational tools, but we'll talk about that later on.
Now, this kind of slide I've seen before, so let's go over it. Okay. So, first thing you should do, as I've said to you, is first slide should always be your agenda. Okay? And in a meeting like this, we have 6, 7 churches, and you don't know how long they're going to be, and then with this and those. Let's set expectations, because it makes some sense. So I want to thank you all for coming this afternoon. I'm going to spend about 15 minutes, that's all we've got time for in terms of attention span, walking you through some things. I'm going to give you a quick introduction on who we are, just so you know who we are, because some of you may not be familiar. It may turn out they were all familiar, in which case you say, I have this here, but since you all know who we are, we'll move on to the next section. Click, 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 and that's great. Is this right for your congregation? Why is that a great line?
It makes you think.
It makes you think. I'm involved. Step 1. Is this right for my congregation? I don't know. Now, she told us what percentage of people she said were involved? 90. Okay? So one of the problems in going through this is 90% have already heard. So you were spending your entire attention on that 10%. Behind me were 18 people who fell asleep within 14 minutes because they'd already heard it. So if it was 90%, boredom city, which is one of the reasons for making these things shorter and more succinct, because you can move it through faster. You're working with the same handicap presentation she's got, so when I say to you it's all over the place instead of being, again, the 5 books. You do not have the Adam story in the 3rd book, 6th book, and 10th book. It's all in one section, and it just stays there. That has to be done. You have to totally reorganize that to do it, which would have been useful then on your very first slide to say, is it right? There are 3 things I want to talk to today. Just what it is, well, you all know. I'm going to not spend a lot of time on that. What are the big benefits? How does it really work? And why you should do it if you haven't done it right now. Probably 4 issues. Okay? So the trend thing about 90% is part of the last one. Why you should do it now if you haven't done it, because everyone else is doing it, you're going to lose out on it. But the power of why to do it should be right up front. You have to redesign these slides, but overwhelmingly powerful slides. More people give, more often, more total.